That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay guys, y'all liked the running back version of this video so much, I figured that we needed to go out here and make a wide receiver version. I will say that I don't think that we're going to be able to get to quarterback or tight end this week, just because we have so many Instagram videos that we need to get to. If y'all don't know, every single week we go out and we take questions that we receive on Instagram, we turn them into videos. We will have a video where we break down your rosters. I'll come up with trade suggestions on how I think you can improve your team, and if you need to make any different start-sit decisions. On top of that, we have another video that we answer your trade questions, and then we have another video where we answer your start-sit questions. So I still have a lot to get to this week, but we are going to get one more video out here like this where I'm going through my rest of season rankings at the wide receiver position. Now, please, guys, if y'all have not already, make sure you go down there, hit that subscribe button. Guys, there is no fantasy football YouTube channel growing at near the speed we are. I mean, we started this fantasy football season at 2,000 subscribers. I think that once we get to week 9, we will probably be sitting at 20,000 and have a 10x our subscriber count, and it's 100% because y'all go down there and just absolutely smash that like button. Y'all have your notifications on, so we are going to continue to upload as many videos as I can possibly make, even if it hurts us in the YouTube algorithm a little bit. I don't care. I mean, y'all are by far and away the best fantasy football audience on YouTube, so we're going to continue to spam the uploads. Okay, so that's enough rambling. Let's get into this video and let's talk about our top 24 wide receivers. And no better player to start it off with than Davante Adams. Okay, so with Davante Adams, I think that we're going to have no arguments here to rank any other wide receiver here at 1. Maybe if we were looking at a Deandre Hopkins that had already gone through his bye week, and on top of that, we did not see this past week performance from Davante Adams, then we can have the conversation. But no, I mean, Davante Adams is sitting in here a tier alone. Just looking at DeAndre Hopkins, still not going through his bye week yet in 2020, so Davante Adams is going to have that extra game on him. On top of that, Davante Adams has been consistently providing that high-end wide receiver 1 production for you in games that he's been active. And maybe this is just because I'm a little bit biased here. Y'all know we had Davante Adams as our #1 wide receiver coming into 2020. So I could be a little bit biased here, but yeah, we're going to have Davante Adams at 1, and it's not even going to be close. And now at 2, we're going to have to go with someone that we actually got wrong. I was trying to avoid him in fantasy football drafts this year, but this is DeAndre Hopkins. Now with Hopkins, it's just kind of surprising to see him get that 30% target share in an offense that was supposed to be a spread offense in Cliff Kingsbury. We thought that he was really going to run that Mike Leach type system where they did not necessarily focus in on one target, but no, it doesn't matter. DeAndre Hopkins is this offense. DeAndre Hopkins is getting force-fed each and every week. I think that even though he's going through his bye week this week, and we are going to get one less week with him than we will some of these other wide receivers, it doesn't matter because you know when he is healthy, he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver for you each and every week. Now, our third wide receiver, we have yet to see him have one impressive game in 2020, but personally, I'm going to have to put him here. I'm going to have to jam in Michael Thomas here at 3, just understanding that Michael Thomas is going to come in and he's going to see about 30% of this team's target share, and we know that his catch rate is always so high because he's the king of the slant route. It's not like he's just running out and running Marquise Brown type routes. No, I mean, Michael Thomas is going to be consistent every single week, that top 5 wide receiver, just like we're seeing with the DeAndre Hopkins, a Davante Adams. Michael Thomas has also already gone through his bye week. Maybe we see him miss out on this upcoming Sunday, but outside of that, I think he should be a consistent top 5 wide receiver through the rest of the season, and that's why I have been advocating for y'all to go out there and try to buy Michael Thomas on the low. Okay, now our fourth wide receiver, this is going to be a little bit controversial, but we have to put him here. Julio Jones. Now, Julio Jones, y'all know that he was our #1 buy low candidate about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and honestly, that may be why I'm a little bit biased here as well. I just think if we are projecting this wide receiver for the rest of the season, it's hard to get away from him at this range. Just looking at Calvin Ridley suffering that foot injury in Thursday night's performance, I think that we could possibly see Calvin Ridley miss a week, and if that happens, Julio Jones is probably going to be the wide receiver 1 overall, and on top of that, we know that even in games that Calvin Ridley is healthy, Julio Jones is a threat to put up 35 points any given week just because of the talent of a wide receiver that he is. here with Julio. I think the lowest we can have him is at 4. And following Julio Jones at 4, we are going to have Tyler Lockett here at 5. Lockett, another one of these players that's already gone through his bye week. Honestly, I couldn't entertain the conversation of having Tyler Lockett all the way up at 2 behind Davante Adams. Personally, I can't go there. Just understanding that we're going to see him regress to the mean a little bit, knowing that DK Metcalf is going to get more targets going forward. Anyway, I just think that Tyler Lockett's going to be another one of these players that's consistently a high-end wide receiver 1 for you. And I've actually been getting some surprising questions in the live streams every single night. People asking me if Tyler Lockett should be a start. And guys, yes. I mean, it doesn't matter. Please do not ask me if you should start Tyler Lockett or player X, because I promise you I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett. Okay, now our 6th wide receiver is actually going to end up being Tyreek Hill. I know that Tyreek Hill has not necessarily provided us the production that we were expecting earlier on the season, but we have to understand that Hill is always a threat to go for over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And there have been a lot of matchups this year with the Kansas City Chiefs where they have not necessarily had to go out and pass the ball aggressively. They've been able to comfortably win the game with defense and rushing the ball. They have some tougher opponents coming up, so I think we could see Patrick Mahomes air it out with this offense. And if that happens, we know that Tyreek Hill could easily be the wide receiver 1 overall. Now here at wide receiver 7, this is going to surprise some people, but we are going to end up putting DK Metcalf here. Now I know this is probably a bold call, but just looking at this Russell Wilson-led Seahawks offense, I think that we can confidently say that this is going to be the #1 offense for the rest of the season. And with that knowledge, I think we can confidently say that DK Metcalf is going to be that top 10 option. He is going to be a little bit more volatile week to week, rather than some other ex-alpha wide receivers that we are going to see in their own offenses, just because DK Metcalf is the wide receiver 2 on his own. Still, he's a red zone threat. He's a player that can have big plays, and he's playing with probably the 2nd best quarterback in football. Here, I think we have to have DK Metcalf at 7. Now, following DK Metcalf is his former Ole Miss teammate, A.J. Brown. I mean, just absolutely insane with what we are seeing from these 2019 rookie wide receivers. A.J. Brown coming in here at 8, and honestly, I could entertain a conversation of having A.J. Brown all the way at 6 ahead of Tyreek Hill. Personally, I just can't put him there. I know that this is a wide receiver that the sky is the limit with A.J. Brown, who's continuing to progress every single week. We know at the end of 2019 in his rookie season, he was actually the most efficient wide receiver in the NFL, and now he's coming in, getting more targets. Just at 8, it's going to be a smash to have A.J. Brown. Now here at 9, I actually had him a little bit lower than this when I was going to make the video, but I did some research trying to find every report that I could on this injury. Now, I think that we are going to have to rank Calvin Ridley here at 9. What's nice about him suffering this foot injury is that it actually happened on a Thursday night, where this is going to give him some more time to rest. So with Calvin Ridley, initially I was reading that this was going to be a 2 to 3 week injury. Now it's looking like it's possibly going to make him only miss 1 week at the very most. And if that's the case, obviously Calvin Ridley is someone that we are excited to have in the top 10 with the amount of targets and with how efficient he has been seen every single week this season. Okay, now here at 10, rounding out our top 10 is actually going to be Kenny Golladay. With Kenny Golladay, he's not necessarily seeing that 25% target share that a lot of these other wide receivers are, but it does not matter because he is so efficient in this offense with Matthew Stafford, where he is going to be a player that has a high floor and ceiling combination. On top of that, he's already gone through his bye week, so you're going to have him for the rest of the season. I think the lowest we can have Kenny Golladay is going to be at 10. Now at 11, this may be a buy low candidate for us. I already mentioned that he was in one of these earlier videos this week. Still, if you think that you can get him at a discount, I think this is going to be a great trade target, and this is Stefon Diggs. So with Stefon Diggs, we are looking at him being that alpha wide receiver in Buffalo. He's consistently seeing the most amount of targets on the team, and it is not even close. And I'm honestly surprised with the play that we've seen from Josh Allen so far in 2020. Yes, over the past 3 weeks, weeks, it's absolutely been, I mean, I don't want to say it's been bad, but still, it just hasn't been what we saw at the very beginning of the year. And I will say that I think the real Josh Allen is probably a lot closer to what we saw at the first half of this season, knowing that is when John Brown was healthy. And I think John Brown is one of the very few wide receivers in the NFL that's going to be able to come in and actually help the other wide receivers on his offense, because he's not commanding a significant amount of targets himself, but what he is doing is making everyone else so much more efficient around him, because he does a great job at stretching the field. Okay, now here at 12, rounding out our wide receiver ones is another player that's already gone through his bye week, and this is Keenan Allen. Now, guys, with Keenan Allen, I am completely fine if you want to move him all the way up to wide receiver 6. I mean, it kind of was painful for me to rank him this low, this massive tier. All these guys are really close. Anyway, Keenan Allen is someone that's been seeing 30% of his team's targets ever since Justin Herbert took over as the Los Angeles Chargers quarterback. This is a wide receiver that really looks like he's kind of transitioning back to being that type of fantasy asset that he was in 2018. Absolutely insane with the kind of production that we are seeing from Keenan Allen lately. I just think that this is a wide receiver that you can confidently have as that low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2 every single week. Now here, down at 13, I know a lot of y'all are going to have him higher than this, but I have to put Adam Thielen. And guys, with Adam Thielen, I am on record of saying that I think it is entirely possible that Justin Jefferson just completely takes over as the wide receiver 1 in Minnesota. One thing that is kind of raising Adam Thielen's floor, though, is this defense is bad, and it's only getting worse by trading away key assets to prepare for 2021, where I think that we actually end up seeing Kirk Cousins have to jack up his pass attempts. This is not going to be a team that can be as run heavy as they want to. So with that happening, the targets are so concentrated between Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson that I think that we could actually see both of these wide receivers potentially be wide receiver 1s in fantasy. They each have their own downsides in the case that either one of them breaks out to be that top tier wide receiver 1, the other one kind of fades into the background. And they also have the downside of what happens if Dalvin Cook can really lead this offense and can allow them to run the ball as much as they want to. So that's why I think we have to have both Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson down here at 13 and 14. Now, coming down to 15, we're going to have Terry McLaurin. Now, Terry McLaurin, I know a lot of y'all are going to have him a lot lower than this, but I say this all the time. You look at his efficiency from 2019, his rookie season, with atrocious quarterback play. You translate that over to the target share that he's seen so far in 2020. On top of that, we understand that this is a wide receiver that is only going to continue to get better as he transitions in year 2. I think that Terry McLaurin is a guy that we could easily see finish as a wide receiver 1 this season. So honestly, having him down here at 15, while I know it may seem aggressive to y'all, personally, I think that maybe I'm kind of playing it safe, having him all the way down here behind Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Stefon Diggs, Keenan Allen. I mean, I could see him finishing over any one of those wide receivers. Now here at 16, Amari Cooper. Y'all know I love Amari Cooper. I loved him back in Oakland. I mean, just someone that I fell in love coming into the 2015 NFL draft class. I think we have to understand, though, that just the wheels are falling apart in Dallas. CeeDee Lamb is emerging as a top option. So because of that, I think that the ceiling is going to be capped, and that's why we need to have Amari Cooper down here at 16. Now, Allen Robinson is going to be our 17th ranked wide receiver. I could have easily considered putting him higher than this, but just looking at the quarterback play that we've seen from Nick Foles lately, on top of that, looking at Allen Robinson suffer that concussion where we don't know if he's actually going to miss this week, and he still has not gone through his bye week. I think that this is a wide receiver that if we could cash out for Justin Jefferson, it may be the time to do it, knowing that you're going to get possibly 2 extra games from Justin Jefferson. He has better quarterback play, and we know that he has that spike week potential. Okay, now all the way down at 18, we are going to end up having Robby Anderson. And I know this may be also a seeming aggressive with this ranking of Robby Anderson compared to where y'all would have him. Still, I don't think so. He was the wide receiver 7 earlier on this season, just consistently seeing that alpha wide receiver target share in Carolina. Now we know that DJ Moore has actually been this team's leading wide receiver the past couple weeks, but he's not necessarily been leading them in targets. He's mainly just been leading them in production. And we know that, honestly, I know a lot of fantasy football channels come out here and they tell y'all to chase production. Personally, I like to chase opportunity. I like to chase targets. So with Robby Anderson, I think he's actually going to be the safer player over DJ Moore for the rest of the season. Now here at 19, we're going to have Jamison Crowder. Now this is not something I'm excited about, but just looking at Crowder, understanding that this is a wide receiver that was earlier on this season, the wide receiver 2 in points per game. Then he goes into a matchup against Miami, gets 14 targets with Joe Flacco. Yes, he did not necessarily come away with a touchdown or a lot of yardage with those targets, but it was important that he still saw that opportunity. He got injured since then, and we have not been able to see him come back with Sam Darnold. But it sounds like he could possibly be coming back in week 8. If he doesn't come back in week 8, I think he should be 100% good to go in week 9. And honestly, this may be just another ranking where I could put him higher. Now, Wil Fuller coming all the way down here at wide receiver 20. Y'all know that Wil Fuller was one of our aggressive draft day targets earlier on this offseason. On top of that, this was one of our buy low in every week starter players for us the entire season up until this point. But honestly, guys, I had to bump him down a good amount here, just understanding that if the Houston Texans end up trading Wil Fuller, that is going to drastically hurt his fantasy football value. And I think looking at the current Houston Texans situation, it's not entirely out of the range of outcomes that Wil Fuller is traded, understanding that this is a team that could just be punting in for 2021 or 2022. They're going to have a new coach, a new GM, and this is a new GM that has no draft picks whatsoever. So maybe they look to prioritize getting some, and that would be by trading Wil Fuller, and I really do not want to see that. Okay, now 21, we're going to have Tyler Boyd. Now with Tyler Boyd, it's just going to be so intriguing trying to pin him against wide receivers like our next 3 in Chris Godwin, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. Here, I ended up giving Tyler Boyd the edge, understanding that there are also rumors circulating around AJ Green where he possibly could be moved out of Cincinnati. And if that happens, I think we are going to see a significant spike for both T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Now, coming in at 22, we have Chris Godwin. So with Chris Godwin, he actually is going to outrank Mike Evans for me the rest of the season. I know this may look absolutely insane having Chris Godwin here all the way down at 22, but this is a wide receiver that is yet to go through his bye week. He's already ruled out this week. He could possibly be missing another week with this finger surgery. So Godwin looks like he could be out 3 weeks for us the rest of the season. And when we are so far in the season, 3 weeks is like half the season. So you're going to be without him for a good period of time. On top of that, Antonio Brown is going to come in and get targets. While I don't love Antonio Brown in his standalone value, we have to understand that Antonio Brown is going to drastically impact the target share of a Chris Godwin and a Mike Evans, and Tom Brady has already shown that he really wants to spread the ball around in this offense. Okay, now at 23 and 24, we're going to round it out with another group of wide receiver teammates. We're going to go with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Obviously, we're going to have to end up going with Robert Woods over Cooper Kupp here to give him the ranking of 23. The problem here is with Kupp, it's just been concerning seeing him not get the production while we have not seen Tyler Higbee get the production either. Y'all know that Cooper Kupp was actually not a wide receiver that I was excited about drafting so far this season because we actually looked at him just getting his role completely diminished once Tyler Higbee broke out in 2019. But once they decided to give Cooper Kupp that extension, I was really thinking that he was going to see the targets in this offense. It just has not come together yet in 2020. Still, I don't think we can rank him anything lower than 24. I would still rather have him over a player like Mike Evans, when Mike Evans has been seeing a single-digit target share in games where Chris Godwin has been active and they are adding an Antonio Brown to their roster. So thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, please make sure you go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And yeah, that's all I got. Have a great day, guys.